responsibility to lead men into battle. American Jews periodically have faced accusations of cowardice, money grubbing, profiteering, shirking their military duty, being a nation within a nation, and even disloyalty. The blockade of Southern exports during the Civil War led to attempts to smuggle cotton overland to feed the North's great demand for uniforms, tents, and medical supplies. Angered by cotton speculators who followed his army into the South, General Ulysses S. Grant focused on the Jews. On December 17, 1862, he issued his infamous General Order No. 11. It reads, "The Jews, as a class violating every regulation of trade established by the Treasury Department and also department orders, are hereby expelled within 24 hours from the receipt of this order. Post commanders will see that all of this class of people be furnished passes and required to leave, and anyone returning after such notification will be arrested and held in confinement until an opportunity occurs of sending them out as prisoners, unless furnished with a permit from headquarters." Furthermore, Grant ordered that no Jews be permitted to travel on the road southward. These orders required all Jews in Mississippi, Tennessee, and Kentucky be expelled within 24 hours. "The Jew is a good and orderly citizen," wrote Mark Twain in 1899. "He is quiet, peaceable, industrious, unaddicted to high crimes and brutal dispositions, that his family life is commendable, that he is not a burden upon public charities, that he is not a beggar, that in benevolence he is above the reach of competition. These are the very quintessential of good citizenship. If you can add that he is as honest as the average of his neighbors, the Christian can claim no superiority over the Jew in the matter of good citizenship. Yet in all countries, from the dawn of history, the Jew has been persistently and implacably hated, and with frequency persecuted, and is charged with an unpatriotic disinclination to stand by the flag as a soldier." In 1904, Mark Twain took back his comment that Jews show an unpatriotic disinclination to stand by the flag as a soldier. He acknowledged he was ignorant, like the rest of the Christian world, of the facts. But he had since seen the official statistics, and I find that he, the Jew, furnished both soldiers and officers to the Revolution, the War of 1812, and the Mexican War. In the Civil War, he was represented in the armies and navies of both the North and South in the same percentage as furnished by the Christian population of both sides. The Jews' patriotism was not merely leveled to the Christians, but overpassed it. If the statistics are right, the Jew constitutes but 1% of the human race, and ought hardly to be heard of. But he is heard of, has always been heard of. Mark Twain could no longer endorse the common supposition that the Jew is willing to feed upon a country, but not fight for it. That slur upon the Jew cannot hold up in the presence of the figures of the War Department. The close of the 19th century witnessed the sharp rise of anti-Semitism in Europe and the United States. The trial of Captain Alfred Dreyfus in France unleashed the notions that Jewish men were rootless and passive and lacked the strength, courage, and patriotism of the Aryan race. Harvard professor William Zabina Ripley in 1899 described Jews as men without a country and out of harmony with his environment. The European Jews had dark hair and dark eyes and are all undersized, more often absolutely stunted with narrow chests and deficient in lung capacity. The inferior Jewish chest rendered them poor material for military duty. Western Europe and the United States were at risk of being swamped by the migration of these miserable human beings unless we restrict their ingress. In 1891, Goldwin Smith claimed that the Jews are a parasitic race in which the intense love of gain and addiction to money is ingrained. Detached from their own country, they insert themselves for the purpose of gain into the houses of other nations, while they remain a marked and repellent nationality of their own. Other nations fight with force, while the Jew fights with intelligence. Responding to Smith's anti-Semitic accusation that American Jews shirk their patriotic duty, the prominent Washington lawyer Simon Wolfe collected information to show that American Jews have been unfailing in their devotion to their country's cause and have performed an ample part in the protection of our liberties and have freely shared in the struggles in the preservation of our institutions. Fighting on both sides of the Civil War, Jews stood with others shoulder to shoulder on the field of battle.